Hello, welcome to my channel Crafty Fox DIYs. In this video, I'm going to share with you some patriotic DIYs using scrap wood. All of these projects can be customized depending on the type of scrap wood that you have available to use. Okay, let's get on into it. For this first project, I am going to make some fireworks using spindles from old broken chairs. These chairs were just some old chairs that were being thrown out by a neighbor, and so I just gathered them up and took parts off of it that I would be able to use for various projects. And the spindles are what I chose to use to make these fireworks with. I also had some scrap pieces of 2x4 that I just cut down that would make a good base for the fireworks to go into. I used a drill bit to drill a hole into the pieces of 2x4 and then glued the spindles down into the hole in the little pieces of 2x4s. And then I painted the spindles white, and now I'm adding on the other colors. You can see that I have two other ones on the table that I had already painted. The colors of paint that I used were just bright red, white, and cobalt blue. These are all colors by Apple Barrel. You can use whatever colors you choose to use, but I like the brighter colors that I chose to use here. And now I'm taking the red and the blue paint and putting it on my paintbrush and then using another one to bang against the paintbrush, and this is causing a splatter effect onto the spindles and the bases as well. And now I'm taking pipe cleaners. These are glittery pipe cleaners. I'm using gold, silver, blue, and red ones, and this is making like the fireworks part coming out of the spindles. You can use whatever you would want to use. They have like the weighted balloon holders, you know what I'm talking about. They have at Dollar Tree. Those would make good also. I like how the pipe cleaners look though. And that's all for this one. For this project, I am making a scrap wood flag. I am taking 4 pieces of, this wood is really rough. I like the roughness of it. I made sure when I put it together there are gaps in there, and it just looks so raw and rough, and I really love it. So I turned them to the back side so that I can put the 4 pieces of wood together. I did have to have a few of them trimmed down so that they would at least all be the same length. And then I took 2 other pieces of scrap wood, and I'm just using a hammer and nail to secure the pieces together. Just made sure that at least one nail went into each of the 4 boards, and just made sure they were all still lined up before I completed it. Then I just flipped it over and gave it a little sanding just so that it wasn't real rough and I wouldn't have to worry about getting splinters in my fingers or anything. Then once that was done, then I mixed each of the 3 colors of paint, red, white, and blue, with some water. And this way the paint would go further. Not only that, but also it's not as thick and heavy on the wood because I don't want it to be thick and heavy. I want it to look kind of rustic and all of that. So then, like I said, I just put a little bit of water in the paint and then painted the whole thing with the white paint. And I let that air dry. It didn't take very long because I was outside and it was 80 degrees out there. And so after that was dry, then I done the same thing with the red paint. I started painting my stripes on. I started at the bottom because the flag always starts with the red stripe and ends with the red stripe. So I started at the bottom. I used a paintbrush that was about 1 inch wide, so that way it would give me, because these boards luckily ended up being 13 inches. That's how wide my flag is. So I knew that I would need my stripes to be about 1 inch wide. And so this 1 inch paintbrush helped me keep my stripes at about 1 inch each. And then that way I would have my 13 stripes. And then once I got to the top part where I would be putting my stars on, and I need to paint that part blue, I took my stencil, my stars stencil, and laid it on there so I would have an idea of exactly how long to make my red stripes. And then once I had those done, then I painted on the blue. Once that was dry, then I put my stencil on and To do the stars, I didn't use the watered down paint. I wanted the stars to look a little crisper, so I just used the paint just straight as it is without any water added onto it. Now I need to put a hanger on my flag, so I'm just using some jute rope and my stapler, and I'm just stapling on the hangers on here. This could also be a shelf cleaner if you wanted it to. You could put the hanger behind, but I'm going to be hanging mine. And then I took my sanding block and went over a little bit down in between where the boards, go together and stuff to rough it up and give it a little more rusticness. And there's that. I just love how it turned out. Perfect. And now for this project, I am making an Uncle Sam hat. And I'm just taking 2 pieces of scrap 2x4. I'm not sure of the sizes of them, and it really doesn't matter because, like I said in the beginning, you're just going to be using what you have available. So whatever sizes work best for you is what you're going to do. And I just took a nail and nailed these 2 pieces together. I did get it a little crooked, but that's okay. I like how it turns out in the end. Now I'm painting it using the watered down white paint. I'm just going to go all over the whole hat, the base and the top part of it. And like I said, it was 80 degrees outside, so this stuff dried pretty quickly. Once it was dry, then I wanted to paint my red stripes on, and I'm using that watered down red paint. And I didn't want to get any of the red paint on the base, so that's why I'm holding it upside down and painting my stripes going down, or well, kind of going up, I guess you would say, so that way there's no paint gets on the base. Then I just lean it against my paint jar until it's dry. Now I'm going to take this ribbon. I got this ribbon in from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to put that around the hat on there. You could paint on a blue stripe with stars if you wanted to. I just chose to use the ribbon. And then take my sanding block to scuff it up a little bit, make it look a little more rustic. And there that is. Now let's take one last look at all of these projects. Okay, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.